Hello teacher, I'm so happy that you have decided to check this video out. This video, by the way, is about the cone of experience, one of our topics for Educational Technology 1 or Edu 2. I hope this video will help you understand better what is the cone of experience is all about. Okay, let me start with the definition of the cone of experience. So the cone of experience is actually a visual model. Later on, I will show you the cone of experience. So this is a pictorial device that presents bands of experience arranged according to degree of abstraction. So since this is a cone, can you imagine a cone? It looks like a triangle. And it says there that the further you go from the bottom of the cone, the more abstract the experience becomes. So why do we need to understand this cone of experience? Because this cone of experience will actually guide us on what activities are we supposed to give to our students, especially that we are in elementary teachers soon. So, who designed the cone of experience? I hope you're already familiar with this person. This is Edgar Dale. He is also known as the father of modern media in education. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. It looks like a triangle, but Edgar Dale called this as the cone of experience. So, we will start from the bottom. Okay, if you can still remember, the farther you go from the bottom here, if you can see, it's the direct purposeful experiences. This is the bottom, right? And so the farther you go from the bottom, the more abstract the learning experience becomes. So it means that this one, the visual symbols, this is the most abstract kind of activity that we can give to our learners. So if you can see the arrow here, degree of abstraction, so it means that this one dito siya abstract dito, and how on the uppermost part, this is the most abstract kind of activity that we can give to our learners. So this is how the cone of experience looks like. And this is very much related to the cone of experience. We call this as the learning pyramid. Okay, average student retention rates depends on what activity or the teaching learning experience you give to your learners. So if you can still remember, the cone of experience also start from the bottom as well as this learning pyramid. So if we let our students to teach others, to teach their classmates and whatsoever, 90% of their learning will most likely be retained in their brains. Okay, so if we will let them practice doing, 75% of what they have learned will be retained. When we let them engage in group discussions or pairing up with their classmates, well, 50% of the lesson will be retained in their brains. And when we let them watch us demonstrate something, it will there's 30% audio-visual presentation. If we will let them watch a video, of course, 20% yung ma-retain. And when we let them read, it's just 10% yung ma-retain. And on the lecture, well, 5%. When the sense involved in learning on the part of the students is just the sense of hearing, when you as a teacher will do the talking all of the time, only 5% of what you are actually talking in front of your learners will be retained in their brains. So, with this learning pyramid, we are guided that it is actually important, or it is actually advised for us to let our students experience, the teaching learning activity in which they can use more senses that are involved, the better the learning becomes. So we'll let them teach others, or we'll let them engage in real life situations. So this is just very the same to the former slide. Okay, so yung didagdag lang dito is this one, kinesthetic. If you can still remember the 3 learning types, we have the auditory, the visual, and the kinesthetic. So kinesthetic, this discussion, practice doing, and teaching others belongs to kinesthetic. They can move or something. And then for the reading, audio, visual, and demonstration, nagiging passive na dito sa estudyante. Dito lang siya, hanggang visual learning lang siya. And on the lecture, 5%, this is the most passive way of learning. Lecture, can you imagine, 5% lang may mare-retain sa mga utak ng mga bata. So, auditory lang yung involved dito na sense. So, it means that if we will start from the bottom, if you can see here, we have these are the activities that are that allows our learners to be very active during class discussions. And the farther we go from the bottom, when we go on the upper part of the pyramid, it says that our learners become passive on this part. So which is better? Our students be active or just passive? So we really opt for the active one. So on the this code is very much related to this topic. It says here that tell me and I'll forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I'll understand. Okay, tell me and I'll forget. No, lecture, just lecture, pure lecture. So there's a very big percentage big tendency that our students will forget what we have talked about right after our class, especially if there's no review, especially if there's no follow-up activities to be given to them. They will actually or eventually forget what we have taught them. Show me and I may remember. We may let them watch a video or demonstration, so they may remember. Still, there's the word may. Okay, not fully remember. We cannot be fully sure of that. And how about if we involve them? Involve me and I'll understand. So, it's not just we are focusing on the knowledge level. We'll let them also understand. We are always trying to let our students understand the lesson that we are teaching them, not just on the knowledge level part. Okay? Because when we allow them to understand the concept, all of the lessons that we are teaching them, all of the learning levels in the Bloom's taxonomy will follow. They may be, after they have understood the lesson, they may be able to apply it. They may be able to analyze other situations that we are giving to them. And so they will be able to synthesize, evaluate, and eventually create, originate. So it's very important for us to let our students understand the concept, not just let them know, that's just on the knowledge level. Okay, so what is this direct purposeful experiences all about? So what we let our students experience here is the first-hand experiences. Okay, we'll let them learn by doing, learning by doing, and learners have direct participation in the outcome. So one specific example for this part is your practicum. When you are sent out to elementary schools, you are aspiring educators. So the best experience that you can get is what? We'll let you experience how is it like in an actual elementary school setting. So that is direct purposeful experience. Why? Because you are given the chance to what? To teach the kids. we are not just teaching you the theories. Now we are teaching you how to really teach the kids. You are being exposed to the real scenario, kung paano magturo ng bata, how to deal with the kids, how to manage an actual classroom. Hindi lang tayo hanggang sa theories. Okay? So that is direct purposeful experience. Another example for direct purposeful experience is when you let your kids go outside the community, you let them immerse in the community. Have you tried immersion before? I hope you have tried immersion before. Way back in high school, we were let by our school do some immersion in one community in Compostela, and so we lived there with the community for a day, and so we were really we were what do you call this one? We were able to experience how they live their life, like that, something like that. So that's the most concrete based on the Edgar Dale's cone of experience. Okay, the next level, this is on the upper part of the direct purposeful experience. This is the contrived experiences. Again, contrived experiences. So in contrived experiences, we make use of the models and mock-ups. Okay, what are these models? What are examples of models? Models are what? Globes, like this, a globe. So this is a model. And what are other examples of models? Like when you teach the human anatomy, there's the statue where you can see the intestine, the lungs, what are the organs inside of our body. Have you seen that one? So that is an example of a model. Now, what are mock-ups? Mock-ups are those instructional materials like, volcanoes, where we can see how a volcano erupts. So that is mock-up. Okay, models, there's no process there. Models, you can just look at it, like, diba? We cannot manipulate it. Model, we can just look at it. So mock-ups, we can manipulate a mock-up. So there is process in mock-up. So for example, like what I've told you earlier, the volcanoes, the child can actually manipulate. Maybe he will pour something. He will pour a soft drink on that, and there's maybe inside of the mock-up there is a Mentos. And so, diba, what happens when you pour a soft drink on the Mentos? So the bubbles will come up or something like that. So mock-up, again, there's process that is involved. So para siyang mas magiging maiintindihan ng mga estudyante, they will understand better of what is the concept, what actually happens when a volcano erupts. Okay? So, can you now understand the difference between model and mock-ups? Again, models, you cannot manipulate them. You cannot manipulate. Example, globe, human anatomy model, atoms, like, in chemistry, when you were allowed by your teachers in high school before to create a model of an atom, model of a solar system. So that's one. And mock-ups, there is a process. You may manipulate the instructional material. Okay? Simulations like playing Sari-Sari Store. This is another example of a contrived experiences. Simulation, you will let them experience a real life scenario. So, diba, this is like playing Sari-Sari Store. This activity is very much applicable when we teach them mathematics, the concept of addition, subtraction, right? So because in Sari-Sari Store, you will let them buy or sell something, their products, and so what? There's mathematical calculations involved. So you let them give money, and so they will give the change to their customers, like that. So another example for contrived experience is conducting election of class and school officers. So